Hey everyone, and welcome. If you're getting ready to tackle the AWS Cloud Practitioner exam, then you are in exactly the right spot. Today, we're going to dig deep and really master two key pillars of the AWS Well-Architected Framework. And trust me, this isn't just about passing a test. It's about learning how to build seriously robust and secure applications out in the real world. All right, let's get right into it.
So, first things first, let's get one thing straight. Acing this exam isn't about just memorizing a bunch of random facts. No way. It's really about learning to think like a cloud architect. It's about getting the why behind all the different services and understanding the core principles that guide every single decision you're going to make in the cloud.
And you know, every great architect needs a blueprint. For us, that blueprint is the AWS Well-Architected Framework. In this explainer, we're going to zero in on two of the most critical parts of that blueprint: operational excellence and security. Think about it. These two are really the heart of how you build, run, and protect pretty much any workload on AWS.
So what is this blueprint really? Well, the AWS Well-Architected Framework is basically a collection of best practices. It's the collected wisdom that Amazon has gathered over years and years of helping countless customers build on the cloud. It's designed to help you look at your own architecture and make sure it's up to snuff, aligned with the absolute best standards for success.
Now, this framework is built on 6 pillars. You've got operational excellence, which is all about running and monitoring your systems; security, which, you guessed it, is about protecting everything; reliability, making sure things actually work when they're supposed to; performance efficiency, so you're not wasting resources; cost optimization, to get the best bang for your buck; and finally, sustainability, which is all about the environmental impact. What's super interesting is how they all tie together. But for today, we are laser focused on those first two.
Let's kick things off with operational excellence. I always like to think of this as the engine room of your entire application. See, it's not just about keeping the lights on. It's about making that engine hum, making it run smoothly, efficiently, and always getting better over time.
Okay, so here's the official definition from AWS. For your exam, the phrases you really want to lock in are run workloads effectively, gain insight, and continuously improve. It's a cycle, right? You run your systems, you watch how they run, and then you use that information to make them better. It's a constant loop.
So how do you actually do this? Well, you adopt these design principles. This is the architect's mindset. Perform operations as code just means automate everything you can. Make frequent, small, reversible changes is huge. It lowers your risk. If something breaks, it's super easy to go back. And my personal favorite, anticipate failure. This is so important. It means you're not waiting for things to break. You're actively looking for weak spots. You can do things called game days, where you literally simulate an outage just to test how your team responds. It's about finding those problems before they find you.
And these principles all come to life through this 4-step cycle. First, you organize your teams around what the business actually needs. Then, you prepare, designing everything with operations in mind from day one. Next, you operate, keeping a close eye on the health of your workload. And this last part is crucial. You evolve. You learn from everything that happens, good and bad, and you feed those lessons right back into the process. It's a never-ending loop of getting better.
Okay, so our engine room is humming along nicely. But what good is a perfect engine if anyone can just wander in and smash it, right? That brings us to our second pillar, security. If operational excellence is the engine room, then security is the fortress you build all around it, protecting your data, your systems, and your assets from every possible threat.
Now, the official AWS definition here has a really key phrase. You can use cloud technologies to actually improve your security. That's a huge shift in thinking. It's not just about defending what you have. It's about using the power of the cloud to build a much more secure environment than you might have ever been able to on your own premises.
And just like our engine room, our fortress is built on some core principles. Implement a strong identity foundation all starts with the principle of least privilege. Think of it like this. You only give someone the key to the one specific room they need to be in, and that's it. Nothing more. It's all about granting the absolute minimum permissions needed to do a job. Apply security at all layers. That's about defense in depth, and we're going to look at that in just a second. And, of course, prepare for security events. That means having a plan before something bad happens.
This slide is just a perfect way to visualize that defense in depth idea. Just look at this. Security isn't one giant wall, it's multiple layers of protection. An attacker has to get through the outer network shields first. Then maybe they reach the application, but they hit an API gateway.
which is like a bouncer at a club. And even if they somehow get past that, each individual little microservice and database inside has its own security controls. That's defense in depth. If one layer fails, another one is right there waiting to stop the threat.
Okay, listen up, because this next part is absolutely crucial for your exam. It's the shared responsibility model. It's actually pretty simple when you break it down. AWS is responsible for security of the cloud. That means the physical data centers, the hardware, the global network, all that stuff. You, the customer, are responsible for security in the cloud. That means configuring your services the right way, managing who has access, and encrypting your own data. To put it another way, AWS secures the playground, but you're responsible for how your kids play in it.
All right, we have covered a ton of ground. So let's boil all of this down into the most important takeaways for your Cloud Practitioner exam. This is the stuff you really need to lock in. Remember this quote: "The principles we've been talking about aren't just a bunch of technical checkboxes. Nope, operational excellence and security are really about creating a culture of constant improvement, a culture of automation, of planning for failure, and of shared responsibility. That right there, that's the mindset of a successful cloud architect." And finally, here are the key services that map directly back to these pillars. For operational excellence, you've got to know CloudFormation for that operations as code principle and Amazon CloudWatch for observability. For security, AWS IAM is the absolute cornerstone of identity, and CloudTrail is essential for traceability because it logs every single API call made in your account. Knowing what these services do and which pillar they belong to is pure gold for the exam.
So there you have it, 2 of the most foundational pillars of the architect's blueprint. By really understanding operational excellence and security, you're not just studying for a test. You're learning how to build better, safer, and more efficient systems on AWS. So the only question left is, now that you've got the blueprint, what are you going to build?